Hello guys, and welcome to this new Python tutorial. Today we are going to talk about strings in Python. A string is simply a sequence of characters. To define that, we use the quotes. We can use single quotes. For example, we say hello world, right? Or we can use double quotes. So text2 equals to double quotes. This is a string. Okay, but we cannot use at the beginning single quote and at the end double quote. For example, if we write text3 equals to single quote text, right? And here we change it to the single quote. It will say that there is an error about our string. The same thing if we let the double at the end and the single at the beginning. Okay, so we'll have an error. If you want to define a string, you can use single quotes, double quotes, and we can also define multi-line string. Multi-line, for example, string, right, equals to, we write triple quotes, right? We define, for example, this is multi-line string, right? So we run that. If we directly call it by name, so we will have the /n, which means that it did not understand exactly what this means. But if we write print multi-line string, it will give you a multi-line string, right? And it is the same thing if we want to use the single quotes, right? So we write here 2 equals to, we have the same thing. This is using, for example, single quotes, for example, okay? And if we print that, print multi-line string 2, and we will have the same thing, right? So this is a multi-line string. And the same thing we cannot use at the beginning double quotes and at the end the single quotes. We'll get an error as in here, okay? So to find the length of the string, we use the length function. So we have 33 characters. We can also use the type, okay? It is str, which means that it is a string, okay? So if we come back to our characters, for example, text2, right? Copy that, fast, okay? So here, for example, we can use indexing. Since it is a sequence, we can access any element that we want in our string, right? So we have the length, it is 16. For example, if we want to print the character number, for example, let's say 4, we'll have O, okay? Sorry, this is text2. So we have space 0, 1, 2, 3, and the 4 is space, right? For example, if we want to print the first element, so we use, it starts from 0, okay? So this is first element, and the last element, text2, we write -1. Here we get the last element, okay, which is J, it is G, and the first is T. So this is about indexing. We can also access a part of the string, okay, so using slicing. For example, if we want to print text2 from 4 till the end. Okay, so we use the colon and it will print us the space is a string, right? For example, if we just want to print the first word here, we use from the beginning until the fourth. We have this, okay? So this is about indexing and about slicing. For example, if we want to change a character, let's say for example the last character. So we said that last character is G. So write text2 dot replace, for example, where we have G, we replace it by, for example, let's say S. Okay. So this is it doesn't have meaning, but I mean you get the idea. So if we write, for example, text2 dot replace, okay, and we replace, for example, S by, for example, let's say W, we will have all the letters S will be changed by W. So we use replace to change a character in a string. Okay. We can also, for example, print. Okay, let's say print. This is a sentence, right? And here we have, we'll have, for example, word equals to. We use the escape character n, which means new line, and we write new line. Okay. And for example, if we print word, right, we will have this is sentence, and we have a new line. Okay. So for example, if we want to use /n, it means that escape character plus the n means a new line. Okay. So if you want to print a new line, you use /n. Also, if for example, if we want to, write print, okay, for example, svm is and we write, for example, double quotes, very, okay, important, for example, algorithm in machine learning, right? For example, we want to highlight this word, right? We want to say that it is very important, for example, algorithm, right? And if we run that, we will have an error because we cannot use word inside quotes inside a string. Okay. To do that, we have to use a character which is called escape character. Okay. So we write escape character, right? And we add it in here. Okay. So once we run that, we have SVM is a very important algorithm in machine learning. So the escape character allows to use the double quotes when we are normally not allowed to. Okay. So it is very important to note that if you want, for example, to highlight a word inside your string, right? We can also concatenate two words. Okay, let's say for example, word 1 is hello, okay, and word 2 is, for example, word 1. So if we print word 1 plus word 2, we will get concatenation. Okay, but here we have the two words are stacked. Okay, we can add a space, so we write, for example, word 1 plus space, okay, plus word 2. Fine. And here we'll have hello world. The two words are concatenated, and also we have added space between them. Okay, so this is about concatenation in strings. There is also the format character or the format function that we use in our strings. Okay, for example, you write, for example, weather. Okay, we call it, for example, good weather, or it is only, say, for example, good, and what we can add, for example, we say weather is good, and the season, for example, we say season is summer. Okay, we're on that. So we have defined two strings. If we want to print that, okay, so we say print. Okay, we can use the double quotes, right? And we use the curly brackets. So we say here, for example, the weather is good since we are in summer. Okay, so here what you can add is you can add the function dot format, right? And you can add your strings in here. So we have for weather and we have the season. Okay, if we run that, we will get the weather is good since we are in summer. Okay, so the format function allows us to, for example, we can change the strings anytime that we want without changing all the function or all the string. Okay, for example, we say here the weather is bad since we are in, for example, winter, right? Run. So the weather is bad since we are in winter. Okay, so this is called the format function. We can also use it as the following. So we write print. This is the second method. You write f double quotes, and you write here the weather is curly brackets. Now we'll enter the name inside the curly brackets, right? So the weather is good since we are in. You do the same thing. You open the curly brackets and you add your string in here or your name in here. Okay, so it is the same thing. You can either use this method or this one. Okay, me personally I use this one since it is much simpler and it is faster. Okay, so it is up to you to choose what function you want to use for the formatting function. Okay, we have also some other methods. For example, if we write, we have here the weather is a string, right? And here we will have all the functions that we can, or the methods that we can apply to our string. For example, if we write upper, okay, it will give us the noun with the letters capitalized. Okay, so for example, if we define another word here, we say word is, for example, hello, run that, and we want to transform it or to have the lower cases. Okay, so we write word, press tab, and we search here for lower. Okay, word lower, it will give us the lower letters of the word. Okay, so we have upper to capitalize your word, and the lower to make it to have lower cases. Okay, for example, if we define another let's say text equal this is a new Python tutorial, right? We run that. For example, we want to count the number of t's in our text, so we write text dot count t. So or you can just directly write t. Okay, as you can see here, name t is not defined. Okay, so since we are working with strings, we have to add the single or the double quotes. Okay, so the count function will count the number of times the string that you will put in here is present in the sentence. So the t is 1, 2, 3, and normally it is 4. But since we have the difference between the capital letter and the lower cases, so we have 1 t with capital letter and the remaining with the lower cases. Okay, so this is to find or to count the number of strings. We can also use a word, for example, tutorial. Since tutorial is present one time, it will say that it is present one time. Okay, and for example, if we want to find text dot find, okay, to find the index of for example the string that we put here, so we have Python, it will say that it is in position 15. Okay, so we have 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14, so it starts from 15. Okay, it will indicate the first string where it started. Okay, so this is find to find where the string is located. For example, if we say p run, it is the same thing. Okay, since Python starts with p. For example, if we write I run, it will give us the first one. Okay, so 0, so 0 1 2 3, since we have space in here, so we have the first position. It will not say to us the second one or the third one. Okay, it will always give us the first one in the string. Okay, so the smallest index. Okay, so this is about the find function. We can also use title, for example. Okay, let's say text dot title. It will give us a string that all the words will start with capital letter. Okay, so we have capital letter, capital letter, capital letter, and capital letter. Okay, so the title will give us all the words in the string, and it will modify it in a way that they will all start with a capital letter. So here we have the lowercase, here we have the uppercase, P, P, T, and T. Okay, so this is about the title. For example, if we add spaces in here, okay, at the beginning and at the end, we can use a function which is called strip. Okay, that will remove the spaces from the beginning and from the end of our string. So here we run that, we count 1 title. Okay, so text.title strip. So as we have said, it will remove the spaces at the beginning and at the end of our string. Okay, we have also another function that is very used, which is split. For example, we write text dot split. It will return for us list that contains all the words that are separated by space. Okay, so here we have removed the spaces at the beginning and at the end, and it will separate the string depending on the spaces. Okay, we have space, 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 and space. For example, if we define another word, so we have text 3, for example, equals to, and we define that by this string. Okay, we put this string in here, and and we add commas. Okay, we remove the spaces, we add commas, right? If we run that, so if we do text dot split, it will do it on the space as we have said in here. But if we change it to 3, it will give us this string. Okay, since we don't have spaces. But if we choose the separator as a comma, it will give the same thing. Okay, so the split splits the string depending on the separator that you will define in here. Generally it is the space or the comma. Okay, so this is all for the strings. I hope that you have learned new things. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.